to acknowledge for the record the presence of Senator Sergio Osmeña as representative of the Committee on Finance. Also present here with us today are the representative of the DBM, Ms. Carmencita Delantar. From the DNR is Dr. Elmer Billedo, who is the Assistant Director, Mines and Geosciences Bureau. From the BIR, Attorney Erwin Mendinueto, who is the acting lawyer of the Law Division, and representative of the League of Provinces of the Philippines, Mr. Jesse Alcaraz, who is the Policy Director of said organization. The agenda for today are Senate Bills number 1101, a bill filed by Senator Manny Villar, the title of which is an act providing for the direct remittance to the host local government unit of its 40% share of the gross collection derived by the national government from national wealth taxes, amending for the purpose Section 293 of the Republic Act 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code. And also Senate Bill number 1419, which has the exact same title. This was filed by Senator Lauren Legarda. Also on the agenda is House Bill number 4410, introduced by Representatives Neptali Gonzalez, Ronald Cosalan, George Arnaiz, Rufus Rodriguez, Maximo Rodriguez, et al. And the title, once again, is an act providing for the direct remittance to the host local government of its 40% share of the proceeds derived from utilization. So it's the same. As can clearly be seen, the general intent of all these bills is to amend Section 290 of 293 of the Local Government Code. In the Local Government Code, it provides that the remittances of all the share of all local government units from the utilization and development of national wealth shall be remitted in accordance with in the code it says that it should be directly remitted to the local government unit. However, the practice has been that what usually happens is in the collection, the local government units wait 3 years before the ERA is actually released to the Local Government Code.
Senator
Mr. Chair, may
yes,
I
sir?
just interrupt before
Yes, of
I
course.
have to leave and chair another hearing?
Yes, of course.
But just taking a quick look at the Villar the bill authored by Senator Villar, the shares that he really refers to are shares from mining, power, etc., and it's not 40%. Sometimes it's 1%, 1/2 of 1%, 1 peso per kilowatt hour. So this should be looked into and modified accordingly. No? But it's certainly not 40%. And number two, I recall that the 40% share is an average of the previous years. The previous 3 years, am I correct, Ms. Delante?
Yes, sir.
Another question then, corollary to that point, is that it is the DBM that computes all this, diba?
Sir, with due respect again, sir, it is not. We do not have the figure, sir, unless the 4 authorized collecting agencies, sir, namely the BIR for the mining taxes, the DNR for the forest charges, the DOE for the energy source, and the MGB for the mining royalty, sir. These are the 4 classifications, sir, under the national wealth. So, under Section 390, Article...
Yes, but whose computation
Sir, the one computing,
holds?
sir, are the authorized collecting agencies, sir. They identified three things, sir, in the certification.
All right, and then all their numbers must go to only
Authorized
one.
collecting agencies. Yes, sir.
They're the ones who directly remit.
Opo, sir. They'll mention, sir, three things in the certification. Who are the entitled recipients, LGUs,
No,
and
let's
where
cut
the
this
collection
short.
comes, and the
Let's cut
computation,
this short.
sir.
My question
And the
only
computation,
is,
sir.
yung cheque, kung may governor, yung cheque darating from DNR, then a
I
check
see.
comes from BIR.
Never mind mining taxes and other collections. Pati yung IRA, there was a point na namiligro pa na hindi ma-release. That is how bad the situation became. That in previous years, I remember, because I was still governor, in the Senate, they were proposing that the internal revenue allotment be withheld to pay for the deficit in the national budget. That's why there is a decided case in the Supreme Court, because we took it to the Supreme Court and we won.
Yes.
And that the IRA is an automatic appropriation. That was the decision. Now this what we are seeking to do here is the same idea, that this is instead of going back to the national government and again putting it at risk in terms of its possibility of payment to the local government unit for let us say the calculations for a mining corporation to be able to make payments to local government units are not complicated. Now, the calculations at the BIR, again, to use your word, which I think is appropriate, unbundling, it's a complicated process because we're dealing with so many accounts, so many items, so many numbers. Whereas, from the point of view of a corporation, all the corporation does is say, this is my tax payment for this year. This is what goes to the national government. This is what goes to the local government. I will sign cut two checks, one to the national government and one to the local government. Now, can we do that?
That's all, sir, that we wanted to say. But, sir, with due respect to Section 293, sir, which is the essence of the bills, po, sir, in Section 293, po, sir, ever since, when the developer and utilizer is a government-owned and controlled corporation, or a government entity, sir, the release is really direct po, sir. When PNOC was still a government entity, then whatever collections they had out of the utilization, from the proceeds and utilization of the national wealth, is remitted direct, sir, to the LGUs. Now, but, sir, in the middle of 2007, sir, PNOC was privatized. So that was where, sir, many LGUs felt it when, after July of 2007, PNOC no longer could remit directly. So it had to pass through the normal flow, meaning to say, sir, back. So that is the essence, sir, of the 293 po.
If it is a mining corporation or even any kind of corporation that's doing business, at the very most they have a regional exposure. At the very most, malaking operation. I cannot think actually of any mining operation that's regional in exposure. If ever, two provinces. If ever. But nag-iisip ako na malalang, it's only that. But in any case, so the only other agencies the only other entities that corporation has to deal with are the LGUs within which it is operating. So there is no need for that collation. The collation is done because at that level, because doon lang naman sila nag-operate. Why do we have to go to the regional level at all?
Your Honor, it's lower than the region. It's the RDO, sir, the Revenue District Office, where the mining company is operating. Since they would be like excise tax, Your Honor, the mining company would pay it, and they're large taxpayer. Mostly they're large taxpayer. Large taxpayer would be, yes, they would be filing sa national. There's a large taxpayer division where they'd be filing itong mga mining companies.
And the payment can be made directly to the local government unit as long as it is already reconciled with the BIR.
Di ba? Hindi ko may pagmamalaki yan, hindi ko masasabi kung maganda yung naging development dito dahil sa ginawa namin na ganito, ganyan. So, that, you know, we have to be pragmatic about these things. Ganyan ang nangyayari. That's the dynamic at the local level. But could you look into that, please, to find a way, essentially, because, you know, we have to remember, we are not moving money around. We are just trying to reconcile the different collection figures, right, from the corporation, from the province, etc., etc. Now, if it was, the proposal actually is essentially to try and make a way by which the corporation can make its payments directly. National dito, ito local. Oo, para hindi na aakyat at bababa ulit.
Basically, Your Honor, the impetus for our support lies in the planning process of the LGUs. If we are to receive what we ought to receive at the right time, then we can better plan and execute our plans and programs. And apart from that, Your Honor, perhaps the latent purpose for our support is that since the utilization and development of national wealth directly affects the LGUs, then the benefits must also be directly given. So that's basically where we are coming from, Your Honor. And to summarize, we are in full support of the three bills, and a consolidated version, Your Honor, would be most appreciated by the League of Provinces.
I think what we need to is, because the central agency in this is going to be the BIR, because you are the ones making the calculations as to who gets what is the percentage. Well, the DNR also also a collecting agency, but ang pinakamalaking trabaho is BIR, because DNR only deals with a very specific kind of operation. BIR deals with all collections in the national of the national government. That is why I think that's where the difficulty will arise, is how we can put in procedures still with an with an understanding of what BIR actually has to do, and the kind of material, the data that it has to process for it to be able to make those calculations.
As a matter of fact, I also talk here as a former mayor, Mr. Chairman. I know for a fact how local government units can cause a lot of problems in terms of conflicts between central and local government relationships.
I think we can stipulate very easily that bigla na lang may papasok dun sa lugar namin. They're cutting down the trees, they're making the roads, they're closing this, they're doing that. May hinuhukay, may ginagawa, na hindi namin alam. And that's why only to find out, we will inquire, and then meron silang permit na ganito, ganyan. And that's where the problem starts. And what do the local government officials do? Sara nyo. Ganun lang kasimple. Papadlock yung impound ninyo lahat ng equipment. Tapos ang kwento. It's that simple. I mean, of course, the corporation can then go to court, but that's 1 year later, and so it cannot succeed. It cannot succeed. So that's why this is very, very important that we do this. Yes, please continue.
Of course, there are central local government relations conflicts, no, in terms of the congruency of national policies to local policies. But national government definitely could not overimpose national government policies to local government policies, because that is the essence of decentralization, for local government units to be able to decide on matters that directly affect them. That is why there will be national policies which could not be implemented in local governments, especially so if it conflicts to the vision of the local chief executives. No? On that score, no, the chambers are very supportive, because if the local governments does not receive the rightful share on time, they can really cause a lot of problems to mining operations. No? And we have, of course, the case of Sagittarius, Your Honor, who is operating. This is an example of a mining operations operating in at least 5 provinces. Five provinces: Davao del Sur, South Cotabato, at least 5 provinces of Sagittarius, no? That one provincial ordinance could not make the project move because of the provincial environmental code enacted by the provincial board of South Cotabato. So up to now, that project could not move despite the fact that it has already invested around $500 million. So because of that ordinance alone. And also of the fact that, well, as far as I know it, no, there were DILG circulars before that I did not implement as municipal mayor, because I know for a fact that as far as I know, that there is no disciplinary authority on the part of national government to remove me from office. There is no such law in the local government code which would make even the president of the Philippines remove an ordinary municipal mayor from office. The one who can remove us from office is our Sangguniang Panlalawigan, but not the DILG. They could not even suspend us. So we have all the reason to say no to national government policies. That is why this EO 79 that was enacted, that was crafted by the present administration, imposing national government policies over local government unit policies, would definitely have a problem in terms of implementation, because the LGUs will be steadfast on their own visions. So what if it is not? If it does not coincide with, for example, the medium-term development plan? No? We have our own. Our concern is our constituency, not national constituency. So on that basis, Your Honor, we fully support the bill.
But anyway, now let's hear from the League of Cities, Ms. Veronica Hitos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The League of Cities of the Philippines also support this laudable legislation as regards to direct remittance, because we're in contact with the DBM and Director Delantar and BIR. But this will be part of the agenda, Mr. Chairman, of the National Executive Board meeting in Bacolod next week. But for now, we look at the local government code, we look at the IRR of the local government code, we submit that there should be the direct remittance of national wealth.
Dr. Bilyado, we haven't heard from you. Maybe I'm sure you have a great deal to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Definitely, Mr. Chairman, this will the direct downloading will decrease the sentiments of LGUs that are anti-mining. Kaya pala anti-mining, antay na sila for so many years. Some even are not given the chance to have the full benefits. So I think this will decrease the sentiments of the LGUs once they will receive the benefits from the mining industry. And as I have heard also, this will even be higher than the era that they're getting.
In many cases.
In many cases. We also have, for example, the 5% royalty tax of mineral reservations. For example, in the Surigao mineral reservations, we're collecting more than 5 billion pesos. And one thing that I would like to also maybe suggest is for our regional offices, the MGB regional offices, to have a small share of that revenue or of that tax being paid by the mining company within mineral reservations. And also, it is expressed in the...
Let's go back to the share of at the regional level. Is that what you're proposing?
The offices of the Mines and Geoscience Bureau, who has mineral reservations, they want to get some like incentive or a grant or whatever.
Sure, but why? Because of the added administrative work?
Added work, and...
that seems fair. And as Attorney Garciano has pointed out, it's not at all difficult for a local government unit to put the skids on any project. Kung matibay-tibay ang mayor, kung matibay-tibay ang governor, wala tayong magagawa doon sa lugar nila na hindi nila gusto. So it's something that needs to be dealt with. But again, I think what we're doing here is rationalizing all those different arrangements. When this is passed, then all of those all of those arrangements that they have will have to come under the standard form, whatever the standard form it is that we decide. So we cannot, we will have to, it will have to be, it will become the law, and therefore that has to be followed by all of the local government units. So in and of itself, it will already rationalize, or standardize rather. It will already standardize the arrangements between the local government units and the mining operation.
Past or even until now, lots of issues are being brought before the Bureau of Local Government Finance to help them claim their share from the national wealth.
Itong 40%.
Yes, Your Honor. So we always have to favorably endorse that to the DBM.
So that is what happens now. When the LGU will come to the BLGF and nagpapatulong kasi yung collection namin,
Yes.
yung share namin hindi namin
Hindi
nakukuha. What is usually the problem? Ano yung nilalapit sa inyong problema kung saan sila nagpapatulong?
In claiming
Bakit
their
kailangan
share because
hindi nga, kasi dapat hindi na nila i-claim eh. Dapat ibibigay na sa kanila
Yes.
by right, by law. Oo.
I think there are administrative matters that had to be addressed then. And prior to this, Your Honor, the filing of this bill, we have been meeting with DBM actually to address some administrative concerns for this. And now we welcome it because it's not being legislated so that LGUs will have a direct receipt of their share in order to at least in pursuance of that constitutional mandate that they must have a just share, because they cannot have also a just share if they cannot receive it on time. And it usually affects their reclassification because as we have been saying, this comes in billions also. And if they don't receive it, then we don't consider it in the reclassification because there should be actual receipt. So they will be deprived of being upgraded to a higher level. So with this, they can have the timely receipt of the share.
Have you arrived at any conclusions on what can be done? For example, without the bill, what are the kind of remedies that you have come up with in your discussions with DBM? And that is something that we have to figure out. So again, I think it falls again to the DBM and to the BIR that you're going to have, the committee needs your help in determining a method by which the calculation of the remittances to local government be made at the local level, and that at which point the corporation operating within that LGU can pay directly to the local government unit whatever is owed the local government unit. You understand that the basic problem here is that once it goes to the national government, whatever might be rightfully the share of the local government unit, there is no assurance, except for IRA, there is no assurance that the local government unit will get it, or when it will get it, if it gets it at all.